So, welcome to all of you who are here gathered as a part of this webinar on orientation on disaster management and humanitarian response. Dr. Haribalaji, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Morning. Right. So before we go on into the real lecture by you, I am very pleased to give a small introduction about Dr. Haribalaji. Dr. Haribalaji, we are a hotelier turned humanitarian with an extravagant experience from 3 different continents: Asia, Europe, and North America. He has a deep rooted disaster management experience, both in pre disaster training as well as post disaster multi sector collaborative humanitarian response. And he has served as a consultant for multiple projects, including various governments, NGOs, international NGOs, corporate and educational institutions. And in terms of academic front, he is currently serving as a visiting professor, MIT World Peace University, Pune, adjunct professor, Savita School of Law, Chennai, visiting professor, MIM School of Engineering, Trichy. And I think this is a very short and brief introduction about Dr. Haribalaji, and I can't really fit in all the achievements and experience that you have in a short while. It will take a long time. So without much ado, let's begin the webinar. And thank you for accepting the invitation, and I'll hand over the stage to you. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting me, and working with the same family in a different area with Savita School of Law. I'm happy to be part of the engineering side. This is an initiative of Civil Engineering Department, and it's organized by the College of Engineering Savita Group. I'm happy to be here. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். I started as a hotelier, and I did my studies here initially in Chennai, and I furthered my studies in Europe, in Switzerland, and as a part of the course, I was working in Geneva as well. So, with the help of strong support, and also with the real experience rich faculties, almost all the students were able to get through the campus, and we, after finishing, we went to either UK or US. I opted US, and can you hear me?
Yes, Dr.
Okay.
Haribalaji.
Okay.
Is it possible for you to share your screen now?
Okay. Am I not visible?
Yeah, you are visible. Like, you can, yeah, maybe once you have, once you're into the talk, you can start sharing. Yeah.
Okay. 1 minute. Is it okay now? Because it says the screen is shared by you. Okay, now is it okay now?
Yeah, we can see you, Dr. Haribalaji.
Okay, so once I finished my course, I went to US. That was on 9/11, September 11, 2001, when the Twin Tower attack happened. When I left with all the dreams, on September 10th, my visa got over, sat in the flight, and just 1 hour before landing, we were told that there is a technical glitch, and we will be coming back. So we came back to Zurich. In the flight, they haven't mentioned anything about what happened, about the terrorist attack. After reaching the same Zurich airport, when I left, which was so serene, when I came back, what I could see is a Coimbatore market. Okay, people everywhere sitting with their baggages, and a complete commotion and confusion. What we could see was highly professional, both the ground staff from the airport and as well the police members were there, and they were controlling the crowd and ensuring that people do not get into the aggravated mode, and all these things were being managed. That's the first time me as an individual seeing a situation like that, and also first hand experience of a terrorist attack where flights which were from Europe were sent back, and from Switzerland two flights were there and we were sent back. So afternoon flights from Zurich were sent back to the place of origin, and after a couple of days reached US, worked there, worked in downtown Atlanta, and as a part of the management training, 18 months when it's about to get over, I got an opportunity to work there in H1 visa. Once I got the H1 visa, the core area which I was given was more into project management, like reviving of sick units. One such property was in New Orleans. Right after Hurricane Katrina, a group of members, we were sent to assess the place and come up with the plan for revamping it. And it was around 6 to 7 days period we were given. After 3 to 4 days, once we finished all the work, since we had 1 or 2 more days extra to go ahead and visit the locations, uh, had I not gone there to see the place which were affected by Hurricane Katrina, probably I wouldn't be sitting now in front of you. Like what happened was like that changed my mind. Like, first encounter with disaster was September 11, 2001. The second one was 6.5 years later. I see the place which was completely turned upside down because of Hurricane Katrina. All the people who had their house, who had everything what they wanted, just lost everything in a day just because of the Hurricane Katrina. That made me think, like, what am I running towards? And of course, at a very young age, getting US visa, getting a job, all those things were good. But what I also felt is, like, continuously, people say, like, when there is continuous failures, it helps. It makes us get frustrated about life. But then, on the other hand, even continuous successes, after a while, you get bored about it and you want to take something completely new and completely a area which is not much untouched. So what I did, I canceled my green card process, which was in the second stage. I decided to come back, discuss with the family. With their full support, I came back. And one thing, of course, before coming, I do have some friends in government in IAS cadre. So I checked with them, and what I came to know was there are two routes. Okay, one, either I can all the proper route to become a IAS officer, or to take public health side and enter. So I took the second one, and of course there's quite an amount of criterias listed, like, where one of them was to have appropriate experience in public health side, or at least healthcare. At that point of time, there was a opportunity in Gulf, so I took that up. I grabbed that opportunity. That was again a project management commissioning of a new luxury healthcare project, where they were looking for a person with Europe education, US work experience, and mainly they were looking for an Asian. So profile fit perfect. When they worked for 3.5 years, came back, joined Sri Ramachandra University in Poru, MBA hospital management full time. While I was doing my course, since I already had this thing, like, I have to get into disaster management. I did my major project with disaster management. But how it happened is an interesting story, because at that year, the second year while I was studying my MBA, it happened to be the year where NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, chose to conduct an emergency management exercise in Chennai. And guess what? Ramachandra was the academic host. Obviously, with all these things already having in my mind, I didn't want to miss this opportunity. Whatever chance I got, I was ready to grab it. There was an opportunity to become a volunteer. I said, yes, I'll be a volunteer. The job, first initial 1 week, what I was assigned, because 3 months of planning was required for that activity, for that event. The first area which they gave me was to the key people, the organizers from different NGOs, INGOs, international non-governmental organizations, to pick them up from airport and bring them to college, ensure that their stay is good, and then after the meeting, the initial meeting is over, we have to, while sending back, we have to usher them. uh, people didn't opt that because they felt like, why should I go and pick them at the airport and then go back and leave? I mean, they didn't see any worth in it. But I felt 40 minutes time just with them in the car, there's a lot to talk, lot to discuss, lot to learn. And we never know how it could turn into, right? So I grabbed that. And many people came, many people left, and I was with them. Few UNICEF people came from UN part, different UNFPA, UNOCHA, different diplomats were coming in. Got a good opportunity to learn from them and to understand how things operate. And I also shared my experience and why I came back, and it ends there. After that, this program finishes. I get a call from a person, one Mr. Dr. Muzaffar Ahmad, who was the chief guest for the program. And he asked, what topic will I be doing for my major project? And he said, there's a requirement for a study in Chennai and Bangalore. Would I be interested? Obviously, I grabbed that opportunity again. And since then, I've been disaster management. See, disaster management, if you see on a broader perspective, what people understand, or even before I entered, what I used to think is, okay, there'll be flood, all the people who uh, have their houses damaged will be brought to a community hall or a school. They'll be made to stay there. Food will be given, clothes will be given, medicine will be given. Once the water recedes, they're sent back to their house. And if their houses are damaged, it's repaired or it's rebuilt. This is what I had in my mind. But what actually happens is, the act the main part starts 3 months later or 1 month later. After they go back to their house, 60 to 70% starts, and then the rest 40%, which is very crucial, happens after 3 months. And just for everybody's understanding on a broader perspective, as I mentioned, disaster management has two broad categories. Okay. uh, which all of us know: man-made and the natural. But I do have, I beg to differ on that. Like, any disaster which happens is basically man-made. We call it disaster, which is because of nature, natural disaster. But most of these natural disasters are caused because of the human greed. Working in different locations in India, what I've understood is, most of them, if not all, most of them, you'll see, if you go to the root cause, you'll see it is the human greed which has caused that. Even the recent one, what we saw in Kerala, where the houses or the resorts were built in the location where it was not supposed to be. Places where it should have been conserved were used for planting whatever indigenous fruits or spices, basically to generate revenue. Those areas were used. So obviously, with nothing has happened in that location for over 90 years, 94 years, people got into the thinking mode of, nothing will happen, God's own country, everything will be safe. But what happened, there was a cycle every 100 years. In that particular location, there was certain kind of disasters that were happening. But it got, the percentage, the severity increased because of damaging it to that level where entire state, almost 14 districts, there are 14 districts, 10 districts got damaged. Now the thing is, instead of going deep into what happened in each area, I'll give you the outline. And what how we'll take this session is, basically, I'll talk about the types and what are the basic things done, and you can ask questions on, either if you want to be part of it, or coming from the engineering background, how would you like to be tapping on the funds, if you want to be an independent consultant, or if you would like to be part of a NGO, or take this as a career, because a lot of engineers are required when it comes to all these kind of disasters. um, Unlike the common theory where, like, an MSW student or a person with environment science is only required, from visual communication to engineer to person with a medicine background, a nursing background, are highly required. Of course, management professionals are also required in coordination part. One, as I told you, there are two kinds of disasters: natural and man-made. என்னுடைய பர்சனல் ஒப்பீனியன் அவங்க கிட்ட சொன்னது, even the natural are caused by human greed. And when it comes to further subsections because of hydrological, what kind of disasters happen, and if it is going to be any uh, if, if you focus now, the current trend is CBRNE, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear. These are the areas where most of the disasters are happening, so people are more focused on that. How do we combat that? How do we be safe? My focus mainly was on pre-disaster training. When I say training, who do I train? People who work together during disasters. Any disaster happens, there are five departments that come together. One is police, fire and rescue, public health, revenue department, and local bodies. Local bodies are corporation and municipality. These five departments have to come together and have to work in harmony to save people. And we do understand the importance of golden hour. We do understand the importance of communication. And in almost all the states where I've worked, what I saw was, if there's one thing which could be improved, that is communication. In spite of all this technology, what we still have is lack of proper communication when it comes to especially crisis. Why it happens? Most of the time there is no initial rapport building that happens between the departments. Not all the states, in some of the states, or the consistency is lacking in all the states. So what I saw in US during Hurricane Katrina, I wanted to have it here. In 2015, after working in different projects across India, I submitted a proposal to Tamil Nadu government saying, like, when all these five people have to work together during disaster, why not have them all trained under one roof? What's happening now is all different departments are trained differently. தனித்தனியா ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் training கொடுத்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். So, my understanding of a disaster as a disaster management consultant will differ from a police, from a medical professional, from a public health professional. All of us are correct in our own ways because our focus will be coming from our own department, our own thinking, our own setup. But when it comes to saving life, all of us have to think in same direction and think in harmony. And it is more important that unison approach will help reduce loss of lives and as well any property getting damaged. So when this was proposed, they immediately agreed, called for a meeting, and I presented. Why I am saying this, as an individual with not much of connection in government or any um, networking done from the political side, all I have to do is come up with a proposal what could work for Tamil Nadu present. So if I can do, all of you who are in this can do as well. And I gave a very after seeing the budget, what is allotted, because normally every year when the budget is once they let it out for the public to see on a national level, and then what comes to the state, and under state what comes to the revenue department, under revenue department what comes to the disaster management, and for a year what are the activities planned, what are the activities that they're open to external consultants. I got all those information, then I proposed. At this point of time, when they called, a lot of people told me, like, as an individual with no connection, you're going to submit a proposal and you think you'll be able to get it. But yes, I did get the project. And there was I think 5 crores at that point of time was allotted, but I submitted only for 1 crore. And it's a 3-day program. That time we had 32 districts, so 3 lakhs per district, 96 lakhs was the one I submitted. And then they asked me to reduce it to 2 days, so it became 64 lakhs. Still I happily took it, and I finished it. Most of the areas where I went, again what I saw was this same communication gap. So every single district when I traveled, my talk will be more focused on basics of disaster, then focused on what is particularly uh, important for that particular district based on the past 5-year data. Okay, whatever they have faced. So ஒரு இடத்துல வந்துட்டு ஃப்ளட்டா இருக்கலாம், the other district might be having drought, the other one will have landslide, the other one will have public health impact. So based on the district, content was tweaked. Now, it is not the same style. The content is same, but based on the population, based on the history, the content was tweaked and it was conveyed. And the way it was structured was 2 days program, 1.5 days session, and then the half day would be simulation. Simulation is basically we create, it is more of mock drill where it will get triggered as a real disaster, and then we see what is the response time of the actual departments, and then we submit a report. So per week, 3 districts I was covering: Monday, Tuesday, one district, night travel, Wednesday, Thursday, again Thursday night travel, Friday, Saturday, then Sunday break, then again continue. This way I finished all the 32 districts. So in order to do this, 1 month of preparation of all the materials, what is required in each place, what is the banner design to ID card design, all these things were done and already sent. And all the collectors were called in 2 batches. They were briefed about what's going to happen from the stay to even the travel. Every single thing was completely planned, and then we started. This could be done by an organization as well as an educational institution, because as an individual, if I'm able to do it, definitely as an organization you can do this as well. After 2015, this didn't happen in Chennai or for Tamil Nadu. So it is wide open for faculties or students who are interested to recommence this. If you'd like to do it, please let me know. We can do this as well. Now, coming to the humanitarian response part, what happens is, I told about the food, medicine, and all those things. Yes, it's important; those are given. But the most important thing which was neglected in the past, now people are giving more importance to it. One is the psychosocial aspects. Okay, we see a person who's hurt, who's injured, immediately triage is done. If it's mild, they're sent to the primary health center. If it is a little bit serious, then they're sent to the general hospital. If it is really, really serious, immediate, they are sent to the multi-specialty hospital. And Tamil Nadu is well set when it comes to public health, where all the districts have a very good public health setup. So all these things are taken care. But there's also much more to it. Like, their livelihood is lost. So what happens right after the 3 months period? Why I say this initial 3 months, all the NGOs will come. Any disaster happens, you will see all top NGOs, international, national, everybody will come. That's more like a honeymoon period where everybody wants to come and help. But after this 3 months, most of the NGOs will leave. That's when the reality slaps. What am I going to do next? I've lost my land. I've lost all the money which I've invested in my farmland. I've lost my cattle. My house is damaged. Initial 3 months, I was given some dry ration for me and my family to eat. So, என்னுடைய எதிர்காலமே வந்து ஒரு கேள்விக்குறியா இருக்கிற ஒரு சுச்சுவேஷன் only comes exactly 3 months later. So, very few NGOs focus this on long term recovery. Initially, we have this relief phase, then we have this rehabilitation, then short term recovery, long term recovery. Then comes, of course, the reconstruction part and regeneration part, reclaiming part, all those things on a later stage. So, when it comes to humanitarian response, how it happens, uh, once I'll just tell from my part of it, from my experience angle, so it's easier for you to understand. We are called exactly 48 hours after the disaster is struck. Okay, so disaster finishes within 48 hours. We have to be in the spot where the disaster has happened. And our role is within 24 hours, maximum 48 hours, we have to do a initial assessment and submit a report. Based on that, relief materials which are already strategically located in different parts of that particular state will be released. ஜென்ரலா என்னென்ன தேவைப்படும் ஒரு டிசாஸ்டருக்குன்னு திங்ஸ் would have been already checklist போட்டு சில ஐட்டங்க அங்கங்க ஸ்டேஷன் பண்ணி வச்சிருப்போம். So moment we reach there and we say these are the areas are affected, these are districts which are severely affected, this is the kind of requirement. So those things, whether it is a water sanitation hygiene kit, whether it is a shelter kit. Shelter kitna basically very damage ஆனவங்களுக்கு for tarpaulin and all those kind of things, ropes, all those things will come. If it's a water sanitation hygiene kit, what are the things which can be done immediately to check the pH level? What are the things to be done? If it's going to be something to do with food, dry ration, then we immediately arrange that. What is local um, appetite, what do they eat, what kind of food, what is required, what do we do for the pregnant mothers, what do we do for the person with disability, children, geriatric population, elder people. So all these kind of things will be taken into account. And as per WHO, where active male and female live by, there is 4% of people who are pregnant. Right, 4% of pregnant mothers will be there. So we have to consider them as well when we're preparing the list of activities to be done. So once our report reaches the head office, our economic development unit of that particular NGO or INGO will in turn prepare a proposal and pitch it to all the donors worldwide. Right. So this, by the time the 1 month period where the relief activity is going on, all the distribution, kits distribution is happening. In that 1 month, the money will start flowing from the other donors. So then the next stage we move, where all these kind of activities will slowly cease, relief activities, and then the next activities will begin. All these second phase activities, when it is in progress, we pitch for the detailed analysis report. Okay, that will be done by us and sent to them, and based on that, they will again go for the second round of fundraising. That will focus on short term, and of course some opt for long term, so it depends on which NGO is having what kind of mandate. So other poruthu, then once the money comes, for example, the place I worked for 1 year in Kerala was focused on tribals, their livelihood, what happens to them when they lost all their money. They take loan from money lenders, prepare the land. நிலம் வச்சிருக்கவங்க விவசாயம் பண்றவங்களுக்கு will be able to people who are in this group will be able to understand how important it is to prepare the land. How long will it take to prepare the land? Buy the seeds, paddy seeds, and then they start with the seed bed. Then they, after sowing, they wait for 120 days, 90 days to yield, right? And at that point of time, 1 week before, just imagine the entire farmland gets washed away and all the sludge gets filled in the canal. எதுல தண்ணி வரணுமோ மொத்தமா வந்து sludge வந்து அடைச்சிரும். Farmland is also gone. Now, yes, the person, the farmer has taken loan already, right? So how do we help them? First, we went and understood what is their uh, regular form of livelihood, what do they do to generate revenue, and then whatever could be done to support them, we did. To clear the canal, we took the support of the farmers and the people living in the village. We took them for cash for work. Okay. And one person from one family can work for a period of 7 days, and we were giving little bit higher than Narega. 700 rupees, 900 rupees per day, 7 days. And one person, maybe father can come on the first day, on second day, and if he falls sick, sister can come, or the son can come, or wife can come, but one person from the family. So this is one way of helping them with cash, because unconditional cash transfer is not much encouraged, so we give in this kind of form. Second thing is, we also provide them with paddy seeds. We also help them with connecting them with the Krishi Vigyan Kendra for them to have, because initial 3 months இருந்தோம், 6 months இருந்தோம், we supported them. After that, we left abruptly. Even the transition of we leaving should be smooth. We handhold them in a long term recovery. We handhold them for a period of 1 year. We help them with agriculture. We help them with whatever livelihood. If they had a small shop, the shop is damaged, then we go ahead and help them set up the shop. We rebuild it for them, we repair it for them, we buy them inventory, we teach them basic accounts, how to maintain inventory. Because there are still places, what we noticed in Kerala was, where on a wall, நீங்க பார்த்திருக்கீங்க தெரியுமா, 1 2 3 4 5 போட்டு இப்படி cross பண்ணுவாங்க. Every month they do that kind of calculation and they rub it at the end of every month, again they start. So they don't know what is fixed cost, variable Is it okay now?
Yes, Dr. Haribalaji. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, there was a power cut, so it'll resume shortly. So when all these kind of activities happen, where we immediately present the detailed need analysis, and then the long-term recovery happens. The core which I want to focus is one: pre-disaster training is required because it is the important area where people do not normally focus. They feel like when it happens we can handle it. That's not the approach we should have. One is proactive approach. So by regular training, people will be aware what is happening in that local area. As an individual, as a student, or as a faculty, or as an organization, we should be aware of what's happening in our place. How do we combat it when it happens? What has happened in the past, and how do I handle it? This is one. Second thing, once a disaster strikes, what are the areas where I can support? I might be a visual communication student, or an engineer, or a management student, but how do I support my city? How do I support my state or my country? There are a lot of areas where definitely innovation is required, but there are a lot of areas, even the basic level services are required. And if there's one industry which is always on lookout for people, that's the industry of disaster management. So it is up to us to decide what we want to do. See, I see life in this angle, okay. One is disaster management because disaster management is required
Are you there, Mr. Haribalaji?
disaster management because due to human disasters happening at various levels, and with all this kind of current huge requirement, sorry, so it is up to us to decide what do we want to do. See, I see life in this angle, okay. One is I should do what I love, not just do because I need money and I have a lot of commitments, so I just do even though I don't love it. That shouldn't be the way. One, I should love what I do. Second, I should equip myself so that I can be considered as an expert in that area. Third, it should solve a problem in the society. And fourth, which is also crucial, where I get compensated for my time and knowledge. When all four things intersect, the bliss point is the calling. This is how I see life. And so even though if you ask me the comparison of what I was earning in US or Europe and compared to what I'm getting here, it is less. But if you ask me whether I'm able to sleep well, I'm happy to do what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing, and I have choice of doing what I want, when I want, where I want, how I want. Yes, I have those things. I'm open for questions now.
So, any questions from the audience? Kindly unmute yourself and you can. Any questions from the participants? Please unmute yourself and you can go ahead with your questions. Thank you.
Madam, I have a doubt now.
Yes, please. Please address it to Dr. Haribalaji, sir. He is available.
Sir, I am Dad Bhargav, sir, from Civil Department, sir.
Yes, go ahead, Dadi.
Sir, how can we estimate a disaster before a disaster, sir? How can we estimate?
Based on type of disaster, there are different technologies available. And how do we stop it also, I can touch on that. The one is there are different approaches taken by government or by NGOs, okay. And those are only predictions. If you ask me whether we can stop based on those predictions, no. But if you ask me what
Amazon
can be,
and California, right?
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one, there are many centers available. For example, like, now rain is predicted. yesterday we had Indian Meteorological Department issuing notice saying like 3 hours there'll be heavy rain. So these kind of things can be predicted. But if for natural disasters, we can only be prepared. For man-made disasters, with clear awareness, it can be avoided. It can be negated. So it is important that we use the technology to, one, predict. Your question is whether it can be predicted. Yes, it can be predicted. What are the different technologies? I can email you the details and also the websites where you can update yourself if you're interested to know more or do certifications. And how do we use that? Natural disasters use that. So be prepared. What has happened past 5 years? We know every November, every December, Chennai will have heavy rain. So what do we do for people who are in low-lying areas? Are we moving them to a high zone or a place which is safer only during flood, only during rain, or are we looking for a permanent solution? Are we seeing just those pockets which is getting affected during disasters, or are we seeing Chennai as turning into a resilient city? So these are the areas where we have to think. See, every single time when disaster happens, these kind of approaches, predictions, technology, all these things shouldn't be just used at that point of time. It should be thought well for a long term. You understand? So these are the things which I would like to share for your questions. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Sir, another thing is also there, sir.
The second question,
Hello?
I charge 100 rupees. I hope Dr. Vidya told you. Go ahead,
Sir,
go ahead.
no problem, sir.
Go ahead, go ahead.
As a civil engineer, what we have to
Huh?
as a civil engineer, what we have to do? As a civil engineer, what we have to do during floods and disasters?
Okay.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
One is for your project. Yeah, I can hear you. One is not just during disasters. As I told you, like, not just focusing on disasters. What can I do for my city as a civil engineer? How can I help uh, come up with disaster resilient structures? Okay. If you go and ask a person who's in a tribal area, from wherever you're coming from, it need not be Chennai, probably you're from a different location. If you go to that particular village and see how the constructions are done, you wouldn't see chicken mesh or J clamp or all those things used. You wouldn't see any basic structures, basic requirements are met, because they do not have one, knowledge about it, two, even if they have knowledge, finance to cover that. So if there could be low cost disaster resilient structures, houses which are disaster resilient in terms of based on the disasters, what happens there? Because what happened right after the flood, a lot of students came to Kerala. There were a lot of conferences, and then clusters were formed to come up with solutions, innovative solutions, and certain solutions were awarded and they were implemented. And during this 2019 and 20 floods, they did not have much of impact. Okay, but negative impact. So those kind of things can also be done. But if you are interested to know further, uh, my number is in the brochure. Okay, the flyer which was printed, you can contact me. I can give you more details on that.
Okay,
Next.
thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I am Harikrishna from Hyderabad.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question. When there are actually every year there will be more rains, and we know that floods or even heavy rains will come. Why can't they take any action during that? Means why can't they
Okay,
move
sorry,
out
I
from
lost
there?
you for a couple of minutes. Can you repeat your question?
Yes, sir. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Sir, due to heavy rains and floods happening every year,
Okay.
why can't they make it out clear in that area or in that particular place? As already
Okay.
we know that every time we see they all clear those, and NGOs will come, everything will happen. Why can't they restrict that?
Okay. Okay. You saw Bahubali, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We know by seeing the trailer, we know it's going to be a hit, right?
Yes, sir.
We saw a perfect mix of all the elements for a successful movie in that, right?
Yes.
But why is it not all the directors are able to do similar movies? Similar way, we know what are the things to be done,
Yes, sir.
but there are a lot of different entanglements that doesn't happen, that doesn't allow things to happen. Okay. Instead of going into details, I'll put it in a more subtle way. There are certain issues which prevail in the society, which can be solved, but only if it prevails, there could be people who can say it can be solved or it will be solved by them, and that has certain, that yields them certain percentage of it gives them certain percentage of benefits. So certain issues which can be solved remain that way, so that it can be touched every time when there is certain events happen once in 5 years, and it can be discussed. In order to have more depth of what I just told, you can contact me. I can, since it's a public forum and it's being recorded, I can't go any further in this. But awareness, if you ask from a standpoint of a layman,
Yes, sir.
awareness is first. Second thing is pre-planning and having necessary equipments, right?
Yes.
So when these things are there, then things will fall in place. And of course, there is also key aspect. What I did past 5 years, what I did 10 years before or 15 years before might not work now. So I should also have a think tank of professionals from varied sectors working always in design thinking pattern. What could be the best option for this particular disaster or situation, or for my city or for my state? This kind of thing should be year around happening, not just during disasters, coming up with some solution after it happened. Okay, there's a saying, Varumun Kapom in Tamil, which means, like, whatever is going to be happening, when once we know how it's going to happen, we have to be really, really careful about it. But what we have is not the proactive approach, it's Vanda Pin Papom. Like, okay, let it happen, then we'll see what can be done. Okay, so
Okay.
are you a student or a faculty?
Student, sir.
Okay, so students like you, faculties, can you imagine, like, how many people, like when I studied, I did not have sessions like this where faculty looks for a person in this particular field, and then calls, invites all the faculties, students, organize a session. Do you think all the colleges do this kind of thing? No, not many. There are few who do this.
Yes.
Many do not. They don't even have the first level of understanding that this is important for students to know. One. Second thing is taking effort, bringing in all these things, organizing, coming up with a brochure, organizing it, and then having it in social media, live relay, and then having all these things recorded, having students interact with the person coming from that particular field. These kind of things never happened during my college days. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is first step. Second step is students understanding that this kind of sessions are happening, contacting the person. I'm not talking only about me, I'm saying any
Yes,
faculty or
sir.
any
Yes.
person who comes to give a session, and then having a to have this is a 1 hour session, right?
Yes.
So to have the conversation continue, if there's a WhatsApp group where the faculties are there, students are there, and then all the cross pollination of idea happens. What can I do? See, remember I told you, like, ikigai, the one which I love, the one which
Yes.
I'm equipped to be an expert, one which solves a society problem. You can touch the third point, like what kind of problem is happening during rain, what happens in your village, in your district, in your state, or where you're studying, what happens, and how can I solve as a civil engineer? If I'm the district administrator, if I'm the collector, what would I do for my village? If I'm given a chance, if I have a magical wand to change one thing, what would I change? Is it hunger, ending poverty, or is it going to be gender equality, or is it clean drinking water, or is it toilets for all the rural schools? It's very nice to have robots as butlers in restaurants, in hotels. But I feel like first thing is to have toilets in all the rural schools. I have visited myself. There are many schools
Rural
which don't have
schools.
the basic amenities and requirements, right? So what can I do which will help? Okay, in that process, it's not, I'm not saying, okay, do social service. I'm saying do social work, because you have a family, you will be settling down. You should also have revenue stream. Do something which will impact
Yes.
the society, and in the process you also make money. You do your you have your living as well, and you do something which will help you to sleep better. Somewhere someone is able to have a better life because you intervened. Obviously you're just a medium. One person is giving something, one
Yes.
person is in need of something, and when you connect these two, you feel gratified. It's not coming out from a pocket,
Okay.
right?
Yes, sir.
A
Yes.
company,
Yes.
a corporate
Sure.
social responsibility fund is released, or government gives the money, but they need a person who sees this as their own project in a passionate way to handle it. So as a civil
Yes.
engineer, or as a management student, as I told you, like, or as a filmmaker, there are many areas where people can intervene.
Yes, sir.
Next.
Hi,
Thank you.
sir. This is Sanjay.
This is Sanjay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is, over the past 18 months, we were facing three deadliest wildfires, right? One at Amazon, then at Australia wildfire, then recently at Western California.
Hmm.
Out of which my question is, from the first two forest fires, why can't like why can't America control the wildfire?
Why can't America control the wildfire? Is it?
Yeah,
Okay. As I
it
told you, see, n- these kind of natural disasters, okay, when the two trees rub with each other and when the fire starts, there's nobody to monitor it. One. Second thing, I mean, I'm just saying from a layman point of view. If you ask me on a technical point of view, there are many steps taken from government. There are many steps taken. There are many researches done on this area, but still it happens. It's like this. When this is happening every year, why is it not? I can understand உங்களுடைய ஆதங்கம் என்னன்னா, when it is happening already, when things have been noticed, why is it again happening? Every year in November, we have people losing their lives in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, every year. It has reduced now, but still it's
yes, sir.
happening. Every year, we know people who are in banks of Kuam are getting
Yes,
affected. They lose their lives. You know, their houses are damaged. There's a high public health impact. Every year, this is happening, right? So
mm,
last week we did a study for Mambalam Canal. Every single location where we went, we were seeing thousands of kilos, tons and tons of plastic lying on it. Garbage, very, very a simple thing which we normally neglect. Garbage everywhere. Even though we know that it has to be segregated, we have to give it to a proper person. It has to be, reduce, reuse, recycle. All these slogans. We do all the projects, seminars, conferences, webinars, but we still go back to what we were doing before. Like, lot of areas, Sanjay. One, as a student, we have a different perspective. When we actually get into the field, you'll understand the reality. But to have more detailed answer on this, I would suggest you to call me. I can give you more info on that. Being a public forum, like, these are the areas which I can touch openly.
okay,
I
sir.
hope you understand. Next.
Any other questions from the audience side?
Why is it I'm getting questions only from boys? I also advocate on gender equality and with UNFPA. So I would suggest at least have a couple of female students or staff ask questions.
Okay, then let me go with my question, Dr. Balaji.
Go ahead.
Right. So, what sort of opportunities will you be able to provide in case we approach for our students or faculty to get involved in such disaster management studies? Is there any possibility of giving our students some sort of training or any other sort of educational value?
There are multiple avenues based on your interest. If you are interested in documentation, there are many projects which is happening on at pan India level, where people are required to document that, where data will be sent, and then templates will be sent, where the person sitting at their own location, they can do the documentation work. Second thing is, if they're interested to be uh, in action, like, if they want to be volunteering, understanding what's happening in the field level, there's also requirement for that. Again, when it comes to faculties doing research or tapping on funds, I can give you details on that and the information on that, where proposals can be submitted, because there are a lot of areas where support is required, being the pandemic now, or whatever is happening now with water, or with say, even what are the areas where gender equality part, or if there are multiple streams. Okay, the core streams are water, sanitation, hygiene is one, shelter, livelihood, public health, heritage is another area where it's of high demand now. And you also have communication. And apart from these things, if you would like to take anything in a niche area, there are again more avenues which will open up. To answer your question in a straight way, there are government projects, there are NGO projects, and CSR projects. There are people like me as independent consultants who are always on lookout for people, volunteers, or to work. And also, when it comes to faculties, there are always requirement for people to do research on certain topics, and also tap into government funds and do government projects. As an individual or as an organization, all these things can be done. If you ask me, like, okay, if I apply immediately, will I get? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but we can keep applying and it clicks. And so far, um, grace of God, except you can say like maybe 30%, 70%, wherever I've applied, I've got the projects, or with the independent organizations. So my suggestion is, if you're really keen to create an impact, um, you know as a student, if you want to just understand what is happening, you can be part of projects which I'm involved, understand it. And then if you want to choose as a path, as a career path, I can also give you certain institutions where you want to go do your studies, or get into projects full time, that can also be done. And as faculties, if you want to be as a cluster and do something for Chennai, what can be done for, there are a lot of studies which are required from corporation level, from government level. So those things can be looked into. Of course, definitely you can contact me. I can give more info on this. There are a lot of requirements needed, and not just I'm talking about Chennai or Tamil Nadu. In different states, there are a lot of, especially disaster and resilience structures are required in landslide prone areas all over India. Okay, so if it only are focused on civil, if you're open to much more, then I can connect you with people wherever I've worked, because this is how this industry works. Like, we keep connecting people, we keep including more people into the network. So most of the time it's like this: when I don't have projects, I check with a friend who's in Mumbai, or a person who's in Kashmir, or the other way around. When I have too many projects in hand, and if it's overwhelming, then I divert some to them, and they divert some to me. So this is how it works. So more the merrier. So people who would like to join can join. First step would be to have a WhatsApp group of all the interested, committed individuals, and then there we can have the discussion going.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much for the reply. Hoping to probably be associated with you in terms of this huge, I should say, a huge topic. Hoping to, looking forward to join you somewhere along the coming years. Right. And I'm just looking forward for any other audience, any questions to Dr. Hari Balaji. Otherwise, we would be happy to wind up the session. Just
Before we wind up, if possible, I would request people to come on video so that a group picture can be taken.
Yes. Yes. I hope all the audience are able to understand. Please switch on the videos if possible. And Dr. Hari Balaji wants to take a snapshot of the people available in the forum. Thank you. I request audiences to kindly switch on your videos. Yes, thank you. Thank you all. I think they are slowly switching on Dr. Hari Balaji. Yes.
Whenever you're all ready, I can click. Is it okay to go now? Oh, okay. Few more people are coming in. Good.
Yeah, they are joining slowly, I suppose. Students. All the students, if it is possible to switch on the videos, please do.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, shall I click? Okay. Thank you.
Sure, sir.
And Dr. Balaji, we have with us Dr. R. Ganesan, our program director, Institute of Civil Engineering, Savita School of Engineering. And I'll just hand over the session to him so that he may continue. Thank you for joining, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Morning,
Good morning, sir. Dr. V.R. Hari Balaji, sir. Your session is very good talk reflected to natural disasters. Presently, because this is a northeast monsoon going to start from this week also, right? Whatever, right? You are talking that people, all people on behalf of SSE family. That means whatever you are talking, all people, that people they have to follow the instructions, whatever you are given. On behalf of our SSE family, I thank you, sir. Very much, very interesting topics. Present situation is basic needs required. The people they have to alert it. Alert. Lot of things are happened even for northwest monsoons. What is happening in North India as well as Andhra Pradesh, some other things. So like that, anything is coming means that people, all the people, they have to get the awareness. So the SAR is discussed in detailed way. I thank on behalf of our SSE family. Thank you, sir, for your presentation is very good. I thank all the participants from various institutions as well as our Savita institutions that are attending this webinar. And Savita I thank our Savita management for conducting given opportunity to our department. Once again, I thank you, Balaji sir, and all participants, and our Tolkapian sir is a coordinator as well as Vidya Lakshmi ma'am. I thank you each and everyone for successful completion of this webinar. Thank you, Anandal. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, team Civil Engineering and Dr. S. Vidya has been coordinating this from every single point, in a meticulous way. Thanks for that, Doctor. And I'm happy that I'm able to share certain areas in the given stipulated time of 1 hour. And if, as mentioned earlier, if anybody would like to have more info, please do contact and I'll be happy to share.
Okay, sir.
If I'm not
Definitely
an
we'll
expert in
contact.
that area, I can connect you with people who are expert in that area. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Vidya ma'am and Tolkapian sir, all other faculty members. Thank you.